So recently there has been a new leak, and I think this leak is pretty important thing that you should actually watch. Actually, Riot Games showcases a look at early concept art form for Valorant. Now, if you didn't know, in the new screenshots, we can see concept art based around Riot Games' early vision for Valorant. Now, Valorant has already been fully released and everything like that, but what I'm gonna go into is the details and how Valorant actually looked like in before. I think it's a pretty important topic we have to discuss, we have to look into. I think with the new Cypher and Killjoy nerf and whatever we got, like the new Icebox map and Skye, it's really nice that we see some new leaks, like the skins, like the, oh my god, this new skins are pretty much amazing. Also the new controller support, also the new mobile leak. There's so many things going on for Valorant right now, and I think we're gonna see only more and more. So all of this content is what makes Valorant what it is today. A perfect game, like whatever we could ask for, what CSGO didn't have. But anyway, however, what if we could look back on the early stages of development for the game? Would we still want to keep today's content, or maybe have some primitive content introduced into the game? Well, thanks to the recent screenshots, I can safely show you what the older content was, and I'm gonna be breaking it down. We can see exactly what Valorant looked like in its infant stage. An early look at what Valorant was before development. So there's been dozens of aspects actually changed. If we look over here, agents were scrapped, agent has gender changes basically, maps were redesigned, concepts were too ambitious, but all true for the most part. It seems Riot Games had a vision and saw it through. Like the lore in there is definitely connected. So how did this actually happen? We know this because of some early concept art for the game. The images released due to the artist Atey Ghailan leaving Riot Games and taking his work with him. After this occurred, 4 screenshots of early Valorant concept art was released into the world. This is the first one I actually wanted to talk about. So I don't know who this is. I think it's a very, very, very early design of Breach, but it looks like Kingdom was actually based in the older century with the guns, or it was kind of futuristic with guns. We don't really know for sure. Now she does have some sort of metal armor. I guess we could see like them going into helicopters, into as well be some sort of maybe Radiant, but I very much doubt it. I guess this could also potentially be Bind, right? Actually, that would be more possible. If I could have this first look, I would say this was basically Bind. And the Radiant, you know how you have Heaven, you have some different sides, you have some Radiant there. I guess Radiant was blue or in form or in shape of ice back then, while now it's kind of in the shape of well, really a black stone. I can't really describe it any other way, but that's the agents basically going through to infiltrate the site to investigate this. It's really nice. We're seeing like actual concept art being released. So now I'm pretty sure it's not Icebox, because as I remember, Icebox was basically made in somewhere around 2019, 2020, wasn't really being designed in like these stages that, well, these art came out basically. What is really interesting is we can actually see a helicopter, which we didn't see before in Valorant at all, except at the practice range, which was basically a leak, and in the new Icebox map, which I asked the support and they said it was an unused asset. It's really nice that we're seeing actual Valorant art. This one definitely has to be one of my favorites, because we see a lot of agents we actually didn't see in the early stages of the game, and it looks like there's been 2 Valorant teams, so you can actually see a heli out there, which is really interesting to be honest. We see a real chopper that is near, I guess this is some sort of Ascent, because it looks like an island. I'm guessing this is Ascent. This is most likely early design for Ascent, because you can see the attacker spawn there, the destroyed bridge and everything. Before, like here, like the Ascent we have now looks really unstable. This looks still stable based on the water, or at least looks pretty fresh. I don't actually know what's happening with the water. We have a few different agents that we have no idea. I guess Jet had red hair, and we have the only one I can recognize is actually Omen, which was actually female. She has 2 eyes here, now she has like 3. I guess this is pretty interesting that on the other side you can see, you know, the other Valorant team or the Valorant Kingdom clones, they had something based off, and you can see that this is really detailed. Like this art is purely nice. We can also see some like Valorant agents we never saw before. Like I can't recognize the one on the bottom right or in the middle. It's really I don't really get the story. But hey, it's nice that we see early Aston design, especially because it has some sort of a weird portal we keep seeing around in the lore. Alright, next up we have the most interesting art I ever saw, and I guess this is early work for Viper. It's sort of a mud, and it's sort of, I guess, Viper Toxic Clouds. Now we also have Sade's operator over here, and I guess this was the Phantom before it was actually completely reworked. I don't know which the agent on the right is, but it really looks really nice to see something like that. You can actually notice the details of how they try to implement bending the walls. So for example, the Viper's ultimate or Viper, or it's like somehow blocking bullets, right? I guessing they try to implement that, you know, the walls actually get bullet projectiles, which is really nice. You can see that she's aiming into the operator and she's kind of trying to block everything, or either she's trying to block everything with the way she's doing it, so she has some sort of superpower in Valorant that she can block this, or I'm saying this could be potentially, or she could be attacking them. You know, Viper's clouds have a similar ability. I'm guessing this is Viper, so I'm hoping I'm not wrong here. I don't think this is Phoenix. Also, if you zoom in, there's a white mask over there, and they did completely rework Viper in that aspect. I'd have no idea who the agent on the right was. Could potentially be a scrapped agent. If you know, down in the comments, let me know, because I have no idea who this could be other than, I don't know, I think Breach was a female by that time, so it has some sort of a shield on his back and has a Phantom, and I don't know much more. All I do know from this is that it's going on in Aston. All of this is going on in Aston, and I guess it's the core principles are still here. The main agents are fighting against the other agents. We just have completely different agents we're probably never gonna see in the game. Hey, which is completely fine. We can't see everything in Valorant. Like, there's been scrapped cut content, like the dog bot was, I'm pretty sure it was scrapped, so this was basically a robot dog that was supposed to be something like, I don't know, have some special abilities. And it's really nice that we keep seeing things now that, you know, we expected to see, so some leaks. And I guess this early concept is never really gonna be revealed, and we could really see how far Valorant has gotten itself into, that it's actually like this right now. Like, the actual game that, like, with helicopters and stuff, and how it is now, is a total different game. And I think they tried to make it like more optimized for better for PCs, so it could potentially go for, you know, worse PCs for that matter. Or this looks like really high graphic, really high demand PCs. They try to make it more in a CSGO style, when you don't need strong computers to actually run Valorant, so it could actually be good for competitive and be available to everyone, because, you know, it doesn't matter if someone in Asia can play it, or it doesn't matter if someone in, I don't know, in US can play it, because for Warzone, for example, not everyone can afford Warzone specs, believe it or not. But if we go over here, we can see the final art form, which is actually Ascent. Yes, this is Ascent rising up from the sky. This is most like, oh, actually it couldn't be Ascent, could also be another map, but you can see an agent seeing like this building pulled up in the sky for the first time, which is really interesting. Just imagine you're sitting at home, you know, you wake up having your coffee, and then what you see is like just, you know, being pulled up in the sky, and now Valorant agents are fighting over. Like that is actually absolutely crazy for me. I would just go back to sleep, to be honest, or I would do my daily routine and watch Valorant and launch Valorant and make videos about Valorant and then see where I have gotten off to. It's definitely nice seeing that this is more of a Japanese agent. You could see some sort of a sleeve tattoo she has on it. I guess she has a Old Kingdom logo. She has like some sort of T's on her pouch, like the pouches of a T. There's definitely a lot of interesting things, like she's in a helicopter. Like there's so many unanswered questions here, but it should give us a closer look on the evolution of Valorant. What I would have really loved to see next is actual gameplay. Yeah, actual, old gameplay in 2017, 2018. All we got was some leaked screenshots, and if we got that, if we actually saw what Valorant was or could potentially have been, everything would have been different. Like the agents, the way the game works, the way the game is designed, the way the shooting works. I'm just speechless that this was actually released, because most of this stuff, especially in other games, such as Warzone or anything else, this never gets released, and that's the way it is. Even for Rainbow Six Siege, we never saw any potential reworks of the older game other than the trailer itself, and it's crazy how these games are getting reworked. Anyway, hopefully, if you have any more questions at all, be sure to let me know down in comments. Now would be a perfect chance to subscribe for more Valorant videos. And anyway, this is Fatman, signing out. Peace, guys.